Any fun, fat little creche of toddler hippos, trying to show how big their mouths are. They are some of the cutest animals out here. One of them just resting on his friend's back there. He's a bit tired after a strenuous weekend. Pied wagtail is the bird. Two pied wagtails, the two birds you can see there. Look how fat they are. Now see, I'm sure this is not what you've asked, but it sounded like you asked if that nest was where the hippo nest in the dead tree. Now, hippos don't make nests, Marcy. I'm being facetious. I know you didn't really mean that. That nest is an old red-billed buffalo weaver's nest, Marcy, and you might just be able to hear them going from the myriad other apartment blocks they've built around the place. That one is disused at the moment, so I don't think the pied wagtails nest in there. If I'm not mistaken, they nest in mud banks, but I'm going to check that for you because I might be telling you a lie, and that would be terrible any time, but especially on a Sunday evening. Let me have a look-see. Wagtail, African pied, click click, habitat. You can hear them giving their little Sunday songs, the hippos. Oh no, they breed in a cup nest, often placed over water, so they don't breed in mud. So they could easily build their little nest in that, or underneath that tree, or on top of it. So they probably do have a nest there. Let's check when they breed. General habits: foraging and food, breeding monogamous. Typically retains mate for successive breeding attempts. Now, we've been talking about the swimming abilities of the large grey animals, and child of the universe, of a rhino's swimming abilities, I'm afraid I have absolutely no idea. David, do you know if a rhino is able to swim?
I would think no. I'm not 100% sure, but I would think no.
I would say no as well. I think they would almost certainly sink in the same way that a hippo does. I've never seen a rhino paddling around in a waterhole like this. I've definitely seen elephants cavorting around, but a rhino, no. I've seen them lying in mud, but I've never seen them try to swim, so I don't know if they're able to do the breaststroke or the butterfly. Very gorgeous, gorgeous scene. Well, here I'm going to make a cliched link, everybody. It's becoming night time, and of course, therefore, time to put on your pajamas.
Well, put your pajamas on. It is getting late, but there's another animal that is like a donkey in pajamas with that swishing tail there. And we're here next to Vuyotela Dam, so you can probably see that zebra on the dam cam. I don't know if you could see us at the moment. Hopefully we're camouflaged enough in the thickets here that you can't see us. But see that zebra happily grazing away next to the dam. And the sun has gone down now, so we're getting that wonderful colours in the skyline now, as pinks and blues. It is very, very pretty. And that skyline is fantastic. So we're going to start making our way back towards camp because, we don't really want to be walking out in the dark. But I've had a thoroughly enjoyable walk. It's been great getting into the nitty-gritty, down with all the small stuff, and just investigating what has been going on, looking at all the tracks and signs, etc. And, well, I'm glad that you all joined us on it. It is always wonderful to be out on foot, and you should take up the chance any time you get if you come to Africa, because for me it is the best way to experience the bush. And well, you can just hear and feel everything so much better than on a vehicle. So we're going to make our way back towards camp. I think that's probably it for us on the bushwalk, but let's head you back to James. Bye for now.
Now, very kindly, I got onto my, well, not very kindly on my part, but I got onto the Twitter while you were away, and immediately I knew somebody would have found the answer for me. Stacey, you have found a reference that says elephants can swim. They swim completely submerged with their head above the water and their mouths below, and use all four legs to paddle. So absolutely, elephants can swim. Very good news indeed. Thank you very much. Can this fellow get behind us?
Yeah, thanks.
Can?
He's not the same.
Okay.
Does not have the same behavior.
All right. Senzo's just putting on the infrared light. This is why we're not zooming into anything, and that's the large finger. Sorry? Yeah, with pleasure. He looks so deeply offended, this fellow, like I've just insulted his entire family. Sometimes one is filled with an insatiable rage and the desire to scream out and tell somebody really what you think of them. Unfortunately, we are now live and I'm unable to do that, so I must just grin and bear it. I'm over it now. Let us go back to the hippopotami over there. Senzo? Are you able to zoom that camera anymore, or you not? There we are. Good, fantastic. I turn around, I say to David, can he get past? David says, yes, he can definitely get past.
Even a truck.
Even a truck, David says, could have got past. Sorry, can you move, please? Can you move there, please? Nasty piece of work. May his dinner be infested with stink bugs this evening. Now, hippopotamus, of course, live in the water, and therefore, Cecilia, yes, I suppose you could call them aquatic animal. Well, their Latin name, of course, is Hippopotamus amphibius. And so I suppose you'd call them amphibious mammals rather than aquatic ones. I suppose a truly aquatic mammal would be something like a dolphin or a whale, or a porpoise, or a seal maybe. Maybe a seal would also be considered amphibious. So let's call them amphibious mammals rather than aquatic ones. Do you want to go to infrared? Is it necessary, Senzo? All right, Senzo would like to go to infrared. Oh, well, thanks for the warning. There we go. Luki, we're in infrared, if you're wondering. We are good. Well done, Senzo. Were you getting a message there on your radio? You can see it really does pick up a whole lot more light, doesn't it? And you can almost see that young hippo's tonsils. Oh, he's eating the tree. We can see these youngsters playing around with each other and having a bit of a game and jumping on top of each other, and I think it's an interesting one, Red. I don't know if they ever try and drown each other when they're having a fight. I'm sure these little ones aren't trying to do that. I imagine they probably do, you know. But I've never read anything about that. That's a really interesting question. It'd be a very quick way to kill a rival, wouldn't it? I'm not sure that they have the equipment, you know. I mean, if a human being is trying to drown another human being, they can stand and kind of hold, this is a morbid subject, anyway, they can stand and hold their victim's head under the water, but, you know, it's difficult to see a scenario where one hippo's head would be under the water and the other one wouldn't, if you know what I mean. Unless they happen to be in the perfect kind of depth of water and one managed to stand on the other's head. I'm going to say no, I don't think they'd try and drown each other. This chap is now going to spike his pallet on that tree. And just like with every single other mammal species, this kind of playground behavior is going to set up the dominance hierarchy that will last probably for the rest of their lives. I'm going to move on from here, see what else we can find as darkness falls. Stivovo has not had to find anything further.
And Thandi has not done too much, apart from just munch away at her little steenbok that is left. Tlalamba has yet to reveal her pretty face once again, and the light is fading. The African night is upon us. Did you hear her call? She made a little call there. Last time she did that, Tlalamba arrived pretty soon on the scene. It was kind of getting to that time of night when you'd want your children nearby before all the scaries come out in the night. Thandi being one of the scaries, but doesn't want the cub too adventurous. And these little cats are very, very adventurous, and I don't know where she's gone. But I'm sure she's somewhere nearby. Probably chasing francolins, or trying to. We haven't heard them. Here we go, let's listen. Let's see what she's spotted. Ah, I can hear a deka alarm calling. Might have been a steenbok. I don't actually know the difference between their alarm call. There was a little bleating sound. Did you hear that, Seb?
I did, yeah. Sounded a bit like a sneeze.
Definitely got her ears pricked up. We're going to stay with her, see what happens here. You hear the tell Franklin in the background. What have you seen, Thandi? What is there in the darkness? She's calling again for her cub. Doesn't seem too concerned. Definitely sounded like something up there, hey, Seb? Mm-hmm. Seb almost thought it sounded like a sneeze.
Oh, okay, I think I see it too.
Is she coming? Ah, there she comes.
Yeah.
Just above my head. She's about to come in. There she is. There she is. Hello, gorgeous. We are in infrared, folks. That's why it's looking quite green. Well, that's infrared now. Oh, she's stalking Mum. See how close you can get, little one, before she spots you. Don't want to get my head in the shot, Seb. I'm crouching right down here. Hello, Tlalamba. Come and say hello. Scratch on the neck. This is too precious. Too precious. Without the camera, all you can see is ears in the grass. It's a dark ear shape of a Garfield head, really. She can hear Mum munching. Let's see what she does. She's trying to be very stealthy. Look how she's delicately putting her paws down. This is all practice for the real thing. Mum knows she's coming though, but she's trying to be very stealthy. There, Thandi just called again. Laura, it is too precious indeed. Thandi's calling. She wants you to come, but she's not a very obedient young cat. As I know a lot of the viewers have named her Rebel. I suppose when you're that small, that she's just so innocent. You don't know what dangers there are out there. Yeah, Thandi's moving past us now. Here comes little Tlalamba. It's a nice little full belly she's got there, Thandi, as she moves on. Here she comes. There she is. She's going to investigate what Mum has left behind. Hello, gorgeous. Kinquad indeed, perfection in training, and she needs to learn everything from Mum, who's now just moving off having a toilet break. So I forget to ask the question earlier about do leopards get more spots. When you look at Tlalamba there, you can see she's got plenty of spots, but the spacing between is probably just a little bit tighter packed than Mum. There she is. Hello, Mum. Hello, Mum. No rest for parents, even when they want to go to the toilet. The youngsters are always very interested. She is too cute. Joy, I didn't notice any wound on Thandi's chest. She hasn't really shown herself to us too clearly, but there's no obvious sort of sign in her behavior. She was lying on her chest earlier. She seemed to be very comfortable lying there. Oh, look at that, the youngsters having a toilet break directly where Mum was. There we go. Not shy at all for the camera. Just a little mini version of Mum. Okay, well, it looks like James is watching the full moon rising. We're going to stay here. Let's go over to him with his Luna.
I am indeed trying to watch the full moon rising. I didn't realize it was going to be full today, but I think it is. And there seems to be a lot of gold dust spread about it, doesn't there, Senzo? Do you think perhaps there has been a... Oh, you mean you were in infrared, at least? Yes. Now you're in colour, are you? Are we in colour there? Yes. Lucas, are you in colour? Or are you still in black and white? Thank you very much for that information, Luke. It is apparently extremely l'orange where you're sitting watching it. It's quite l'orange where we are here. Beautiful. And it does look like it's been sprayed about with gold dust. Perhaps some fairies have become excited by it on Sunday evening. We'd planned to go back to the lions. I don't know if we're going to have another view of them, though. That's sort of our plan. I think they are moving, and I think they're moving quite close to the western boundary of Chitwa, which means we won't be able to follow them. But we'll give it a go and see what we come up with. Alrighty. We're going to go back into infrared now, Lucas. No, Senzo, we have to tell them before we do that. You can't just do it. Otherwise, I'm going to get it in the neck tomorrow at our morning meeting. Okay, that's a relief. Luke is very understanding. Unlike some you would do that to it. You'd be in trouble for weeks. Pangolin, you say, wow, South Africa gets to have a moon, and then you confused yourself by being surprised by this. Yes, we have a moon, and in fact, there's quite a nice story around this as we drive, hopefully, towards those lions. There was a great sunset once, and there was a German guest on the back of a vehicle, and they were with a number of South African guests. And South African guests were often some of the worst guests we had, because they felt the need to impress everybody with their paucity of bush knowledge. And this guy said, as the sun went down, as we've shown you many times, he says, take a picture of that, of the sunset. It's gorgeous. Take a picture. And eventually this German turned to him and said, we have the sun in Germany as well, and it goes down there also. Which I thought was a very salient point. Now, these lions are mobile. I'm afraid, unfortunately, I think there are too many people here. Let me just try and figure out what's going on here. Let's go across to Steve while I do that.
Well, first of all, little Tlalamba followed her mom's direction and had a little toilet break exactly where she did. And we are now parked right next to it, which is marvellous, I must say. And then Mom started giving her proper grooming. "Oh, it's okay, Thandi. We haven't done anything." She hasn't looked at us like that at all. And suddenly she just looks at us like that in the darkness with her teeth. She's having herself a bit of a groom, and she was giving Tlalamba a bit of a lick down. And I think the youngster is over the grooming and wants to start moving now. She's definitely full of energy, full of beans, you would say. And I've no doubt that they'll be on the move shortly, probably in search of some water. She's actually just behind this bush, Seb. You won't get her if you... just there in the darkness behind the bush. You won't get her. Yeah, she's just sitting there. And I'm not going to move any further forward without chasing Thandi. Caitlin, African wildcats most certainly bury their dung like normal cats, but leopards do not, lions do not. Serval do as well, but I've never seen a leopard do it. I've seen leopards cover their carcass before, or the stomach content of something they killed, with sand, but not their dung. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Why do domestic cats do it? I don't know why either. To be secretive, perhaps? No idea. Don't know what the purpose is. There she is. Hey, Mum, I want to be the star of the show. I wonder if she realizes how many people absolutely love her. She's got enormous ears, almost like her older brother, Tamba. I wonder if she's going to grow into those ears. He still hasn't grown into his ears. Salish, I don't think so. I think she raises the cubs exactly the same. It's all about feeding them, keeping them safe. There's no real sex to them for a long time. So the male obviously gets bigger than the female and requires a little bit more food later on, and maybe becomes a bit more competitive with Mum. Sorry about the front of my car. This is live, folks. These cats are doing what they need to do right in front of us. And I'm not going to start the car to chase away the little youngster. But I don't think there's any difference in how a parent will raise her cub. I think they just do what they do. I mean, for example, she's been in very similar areas, I believe, to previous litters. Am I right, Seb?
Yes.
Yeah, same areas, same sort of strategy. Feed, hoist, train them, keep them safe. She's very interested in me, hey, Seb? Mm-hmm. I think last night someone said she's got a Peaheart, enormous ears. She's looking right at Seb. I think she's got a fetish for cameramen, because last night I heard Brent say that she was looking at Davy. Now she's looking at Sebastian. Also trying to figure out. They're very inquisitive, She knows that we're not a threat, because Mum's allowed us into the space and she hasn't reacted in any way. You'll see how she keeps looking back at Mum. Mum's relaxed, but this has been going on for months. That's how leopards are easily habituated when the adult is habituated, because they seem to learn very quickly. Well, Mum's not bothered, I'm not going to be too bothered, but they're still inquisitive. They still want to have a little sniff, have a little feel. All these weird, the plethora of smells coming off the vehicle. There's diesel, there's oil, brake fluid. Oh, there we go. I want some more licking, Mum. Not done with the grooming yet. Oh, that's too precious. Just too precious. David, you want to know if staying with him after dark puts him in danger? If the cub was on its own, certainly. But we are not using any lights. We will not be using any lights at all. And Thandi's here. The mother's here, so it's absolutely no problem. But, yeah, we're not going to be staying for very much longer. And if they move very far, we won't be staying. Well, we still actually got, over half an hour. It's so dark already. But if the cub was on her own, we would not be here at all. We would have left already. But we're not attracting any attention. We're not using any lights. Yeah, she's scratching here, Seb, I think. Can you hear her?
I don't know where she is.
She's here scratching somewhere. We can hear her. So you're definitely viewing cubs after dark is a big no-no. And putting a spotlight on a cub after dark is a very big no-no. Even putting spotlights on predators, really, it's kind of being moved away from. But is her scratching, or is that bones? I think she's got more of the steenbok just over there. Can we just look over here if the cub is in front of me still, Seb? And then I'll move. Okay, there's no cub over here. See, I can't see that area, folks. It is dark, but it sounds like she's found the remainder of her steenbok. So let's just inch. Oopsie.
There's some hyenas at the back here.
Okay, the hyenas have just emerged into the scene here. And that would chase a cat straight up the tree. There's a hyena. That hyena is going to take the kill. There it is. And it'll be very silent about it. Won't tell anybody. See, that hyena came out of nowhere, but it would have known she was here this morning. But it has not caught any of the cats. It has only caught the remainder of whatever Thandi was munching on. I'm just going to move around the corner here. I heard them move off.
Yeah, stop.
The hyena just moved off. Yeah. I heard the hyena run. Hyena's in front of my car now, trying to figure out where these leopards have gone. Yes. Oh boy, no. This is part and parcel of what happens out here, folks. That's why it's probably good to just have the vehicle off and listen. I have no doubt that the leopards are safe. The hyena's moving around. It's moving to the last tree it was at, where the remains of the steenbok are. Very good chance that the cats bolted off or climbed a tree, but we haven't quite spotted them yet. We don't want to disturb the scene. Rather let them all be safe. Not much left for you there, young hyena lass. Apparently a lot of the viewers can identify these guys. I wouldn't know how to identify a hyena. Okay, well, I'm just going to go forward here. Okay, I don't know where they're gone. I heard, as Seb mentioned, the hyenas are coming in. The leopards bolted off, and I thought they bolted straight for this tree up ahead here, but we will see. Amazing. A vanishing act. Just like that, they disappeared. But I'm sure they are here somewhere. They might have even just walked away. And in moments, leopards vanish into the darkness. Okay, well, while we search for these beautiful cats, let's go back over to James with his moon.
I'm just waiting, everyone, for a little space to open up in the lion sighting. They did get moving towards the west, so I didn't think we'd be able to see them, but they're now not moving. There are 3 people there already, and they've said that I can come when one of them leaves, and that means you can come with me. Very exciting. Temperature's dropping slowly. It's probably now about 72 degrees or so Fahrenheit. So it's not exactly freezing, but certainly winter is on the way. We're also in the vicinity where Hosana was yesterday. Oh, whoops, daisies. Well, Paula, that nearly answered your question for you. It was almost never. You want to know when you're going to get to meet David? I'm hoping around about the 2nd of May. I shall unleash him on you. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second, everybody. Go ahead. Copy, thanks. I'll make my way. Alrighty, we're on our way. Alright, goody, Steve has been successful.
Yes, well, she just went straight up the tree she was originally in with the steenbok, but we're just listening out. She's called twice for the cub, and the cub has not materialized, but it probably slunk away and is hiding. The hyena's been too busy with the remains of that steenbok to have noticed the cub. So don't worry, folks. The cub's instinct is to hide away or climb up a tree. Sorry about that. She is listening. There we go, she's calling. Remember, folks, this is 100% live. We cannot predict what will happen next. Alicia, yeah, the cub and Mom were grooming, and the hyena came out of nowhere, and Mum just launched herself into the tree, and I don't know what... There's another hyena coming in here from the right. There's a hyena right underneath her there. Listen to her hissing at it. This is incredible, folks. I don't know if it's a different hyena or it's the same one. It's walking around sniffing. Yes, Thandi. This is incredible, folks. You can almost see the concern on her face, though. I have a very strong feeling the cub is perfectly fine. It's just being very quiet. It wouldn't come to her now if she called, obviously, because there are hyenas lurking around. So wherever it is, it's secreted away. And once the hyenas lose interest from the smell and the bones that they've eaten, they will move off in search of another scrap or meal somewhere else. Yeah, Luke, I don't see the hyena anymore. I think that little piece we saw there is about as action-riddled as it might be. It's the waiting game. Now just bear in mind, folks, that this happens probably every night to these cats. That's why they live in trees, spend a lot of their time in trees to be safe from the marauding hyenas. I mean, she's only half a meter or meter off the ground. She's actually, that's the ground just there, probably about a foot from below her foot. So she's not very well protected from the hyena, but she's very quick. You might have seen that clip on Saturday of Hosanna climbing that tree, ridiculously fast up a tree. Okay, Kathy, I'm going to answer your question. I'm just going to move forward a meter so that you can get her face. Just in a little bit of a hole. Kathy, you can't wrap your head around why a leopard is scared of a hyena. Well, a hyena has the most powerful bite for an animal of its size, and if a hyena happened to bite Thandi on her leg, or anywhere really, it might not kill her, but it would definitely cripple her ability to hunt and climb a tree, which is basically a death sentence. So any leopard, on encountering anything, hyena's calling in the background, on encountering anything like a hyena. Okay, well, we'll carry on with what I'm talking about in moments, but let's go to James, who's found his lions.
Well, you were all asking if these lions are calling at the moment, and they have started to call. This one here is just making sort of perfunctory roars. There we go. Well, there's your answer, everybody. The Avoca boys are here to stay. There is no clearer announcement of a male lion claiming a territory than that. That's two of them. We don't know where the third one is. Was that not spectacular? Now, we're not going to be able to stay here long. There are quite a few people trying to get into the sighting, obviously because now these lions are calling, which means that, you know, if you ever visit Africa, of course, it's the one thing your guide really wants to show you. So we'll sit here another few minutes and just see if we don't get lucky with another call. Just going to ask on the radio how many standbys there are. How many stations on standby for this Avoca male sighting? I'm just trying to find out how many on standby. Can't hear that. Sorry, just go again with that, I can't hear. Okay, copy, thanks. Just give me another 3 minutes here and I'll pull out. Oh, now, what these other guys are doing is going around to see if they can't find the other one, so I don't think we're in any tearing rush to leave. We'll hang around for a few minutes. Also, we did get here last. Alright, so we don't need to leave just yet because they're looking for the third one. Now, I didn't hear, but apparently he was also calling. Now that's a pretty loud sound, and if you're sitting next to it, it can really rattle your rib cage. That's the big sort of analogy that everyone gives. Jason, it can probably be heard by a lion up to, I'd say, 10 to 15 kilometers as the crow flies. Maybe not quite that far, let's call it 10 kilometers as the crow flies. Human being, I think you'll hear them on a cool morning. I think you'll easily hear them from about 5 kilometers or so. Maybe even further than that, in fact. Let's say 5 to 10 kilometers for a human being, 10 to 15 for a lion. Obviously their ears are a lot more sensitive than ours are. Alright, this is good news. It looks like we can stay. These guys are leaving. And as they leave, there are another 2 groups looking for the other lion. So we can just stay here. Hello? Let me move forward for you, everybody. Sorry. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I missed that. Lucas, can we have it again? Is that alright, Sense? Now, that calling, as I was saying, Johnson, is an advertisement to say this is our territory, we're taking over here, and it's just to basically say to all the other lions in the area, this is ours. And you'll find lions throughout the night in the various territories of the Kruger National Park will be doing exactly what these 3 have done. But younger than this, you will find that they will not be calling. They won't call because they want to stay under the radar. These guys have now broken cover and said, okay, if anybody thinks this land is theirs, then they must come and challenge us for it, because we are laying down the challenge. We may just have witnessed the passing of the age of the Birmingham boys over here. Not so much with an enormous fight and a scratch and a bite, but with a little bit of a, well, I wouldn't say whimper, but the Birminghams have just moved on. These guys have come into an unoccupied territory and find themselves with great luck. We'll give them a chance to call once more, and then we can move out. And what is so fascinating is that there's been a lot of research done on lion voices and whether or not individual lions can be recognized by other lions. And Pixel, no question about it, the Nkuhumas and the Styx Prides will not recognize these as Birmingham males. They will know that they are not Birmingham males, that they are not the same. We'll just see if they call again. And I know you can probably hear a lot of radio noise. That's not on our vehicle, that's on the other 2 vehicles. Just fantastic stuff to hear that sound. It's been a very long time since I've heard that, especially at that proximity. And so exciting to be around here for this takeover. Or shall we say replacement? I think takeover would be a strong term. Right, I believe that Steve has got good news.
Yes, we do. Looks like Tlalamba has made it back to the tree, and she's now giving Mummy some well-needed attention. Hey, Mum. Smile for the camera. Take your screenshots now. So she just materialized again out of the darkness. She came into the tree. She gave Mum a little sniff. Thought about going higher up into the tree, and then thought better of it. And thought, no, let's continue the grooming. Who doesn't like head scratches? Well, I do. Isn't that just too precious? Now what, Yes, Kathy, to get back onto that, if a leopard gets bitten by a hyena, it's over for them, really. So they'd rather avoid it. Hyenas are very tough, resilient characters, and but they've got such powerful bites. You know, a leopard attacking a hyena probably might not kill it because the hyenas are very tough. But one bite from the hyena and the leopard, the ability to climb is over. So that is the reason. It's an evolutionary adaptation to move away and then come back. I've seen leopards kill things and then hyenas emerge on the scene and the leopard leaves immediately. He assesses what's going on and then comes back. I've seen often male leopards come back and chase the hyena off the kill. But the reason they move is they don't have time to contemplate who it is that's running in from the darkness. It could be lions, it could be another leopard, it could be a clan of hyena. So essentially they have to move off, reassess the situation, and then come back. But for a female leopard to take on hyena, it's just not worth the risk. So I hope that answers your question, Kathy. I think one-on-one in a fight, a hyena's got just such a powerful bite. Well, Clifford, we were sitting here. We could hear those Avoca Males calling from Chitwa Dam. We could hear them, and she just lay there very nonchalant, very non-caring. So we were wondering, Seb and I were talking, like, what do you think they do? What do leopards do? And she did absolutely nothing. She just lay there. So I suppose the purpose of the calling at least lets you know where they are, and she'll know how far away they are, and it won't be concerned to her. That's the animal you don't hear calling, that's the concern, because you don't know where they are. But when they advertise themselves, it's a very obvious sort of beacon for where they are. And other lions, we'll see it with the females. The Ukuhuma pride will be hearing them call, and they'll get up and move in the opposite direction. Hopefully that's not further south from where they were. Maybe they'll push them up here in to Djuma, who we'll probably see in the next few days. I've been sitting with prides of lions, and the males called in the north or the south, and the lions get up and they walk in the opposite direction. I've seen that many, many times. But a leopard doesn't have anything to really fear of the male lions, apart from if they do interact. The lions aren't looking to seek out the leopards for mating or for any purpose like that for territory. So the leopards will just avoid them as much as they can. They're no match for a lion, no match for a male lion at all. And it's in this exact area that one of the Birmingham boys actually climbed up a marula tree earlier this year and stole 2 of Thandi's kills that she left in the tree. That was oh, there we go. It looked like she was doing some scent marking there, Seth. Hey, she's trying to be mum. Her little wiry tail. That's probably in response to the fact that there were hyena right there. The youngsters kind of moved onto the spot where the hyena were, and it did a little bit of like a territorial scrape. No, Linda, don't go anywhere. We don't have too many minutes left of the show. And we're going to see if we can keep up with these two. I can't even see them. Seb's got them on the camera when I'm looking. Okay, should we move up there? Okay, we're going to move up so that we don't lose them in the darkness. Stay with us though, folks. There are some big termite mounds in and around here, so bear with us if we suddenly disappear down a hole. Okay, while we try and reposition for these two. Ah, there she is. In the tree. Have you got her? Sorry. She climbed up a tree and now she's down. Thandi's just here on the left. There she is. Okay. There she is, just in the long grass, licking her lips. What direction are you two going to go? Towards Quarry Pan, perhaps? For some light drinking? This is when it really gets fun, trying to follow them in this at night. Seb laughs under his breath. He knows how hard it is, but we will attempt the impossible.
Keep the camera on them.
Okay, so we try stay up with them here. Seems like James has managed to refine some signal, so while we try and keep up with these two, let's go back over to him.
What we're trying to do is find the third Avoca male. We heard him calling in here. He set the proverbial lion amongst the impala. There he is. Is that him? No, that's a log. Never mind. He's somewhere here. We must have driven straight past him. I've driven this road already today. He was so flat deep in the grass. Anyway, he was yelling just in here. There's a small and frightened scrub hare. Now he could be moving, or he could be sort of trying to get the others to come towards him. I would have said he was right here. Oh, there's a noise. Is that him? And I'm sure many of you, rather like me, most impressed by your first sighting or sounding of an Avoca male roar. Most impressive it was. Especially given that they're not the biggest fellows yet. Here I can see a whole lot of vehicle activity, and I wonder, this is obviously where they found the third one this morning. So he's around here somewhere, yelling his head off. He's not yelling at the moment. I'll switch off. There he is. We got him. We got the third one. Hooray! Let me just turn the car. Hello, my friend. We'll turn off the lights. We'll look at you in infrared. Don't worry. Have you got in there? There we are. So he's about, I'd say about, how far do we think away would we say the others are? Probably about 400 meters, quarter of a mile. Now, I'd be very interested to know if any of you think this one is slightly larger or slightly smaller than the other two. Because what I think is quite interesting is that there's definitely a split in this coalition already. There are the two of them, and then this guy on his own. And when we saw them on foot, it was two together, the other guy was away. And I wonder if he isn't slightly older. It looks to me like his mane extends slightly further down his back. And I wonder if he perhaps comes from a different, well, it would mean he probably comes from a different mother. Maybe the other two are litter mates, and this guy's a cousin. He's looking a bit forlorn at the moment, but he gave a wonderful call. Let's see if he goes again. And I just said the same thing as Murphy's asked. I said I wondered if he was the leader, and then I realized, of course, it's not really what happens in these coalitions. There's no real leader at all. They just kind of go about their business, and there's no obvious dominant. Well, in theory, that's what the textbooks will tell you, or certainly some textbooks. But when I think back to the Matimba males, who were the group before the Birminghams, one was definitely bigger than the other, and he seemed to monopolize the mating opportunities So to say that he wasn't the dominant or, more dominant male, I think would be wrong. But whether he was the leader or not and he made the decisions, I don't know. That's a big yawn. He's just listening for the others, perhaps wondering if the Avoca Males are calling or not. Not the Avoca Males, the Birminghams. And Chris, it really depends where the Birminghams are, whether they could hear him or not. I'm not going to try and follow him through this thicket, everybody. I believe that Stivovo has managed to get himself stuck in a hole. So you're going to stay with us for now? Okay, well I think that was a great lion sighting. We started off very weakly with that rather pathetic sleeping sighting we had, and ended very strongly. I'm sorry we didn't get him calling. And one of the things that made the Majingalan coalition so very strong was the fact that they seemed to come together every time there was trouble. Now that's unusual. And Sammy Jane, you say, will they split? They could easily split, yes. But a coalition of three is a small coalition. So in a coalition of four, to find 2 and 2 together, which again the Matimbas did, they were 4 and then they were 2 and 2. It's not unusual to find them splitting, but I think in a coalition of 3, I really don't think that's going to happen. I think it's much more likely that they will stay together. All right, we won't have a dodgy signal. We should be fine over here. Now remember, we are having a time change. It's not tomorrow, it's the day after, I think, isn't it? Because today is the 29th, unless I've gone mad. Correct, Luke? Okay, good. So the time change will occur on Tuesday morning. We will move 1/2 hour later to escape the darkness in the morning, and 1/2 hour earlier in the afternoon. So we'll be going live at 6:30 Central African time in the morning, and then again at 3 o'clock Central African time in the afternoon. So that is how the changes will occur. A couple of birds knocking about here, some water thickneys, and we're going to shine on them. We'll give you a last look at Chitwa Lodge and the moon. Gorgeous stuff. All right, everybody. That's going to be it from us today. A marvellous, marvellous afternoon we've had of cats, a marvellous weekend, and most encouragingly, my Monday morning will be spent doing exactly what all my other mornings are doing. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute joy having you with us. I'm not sure what Senzo's doing. Until tomorrow morning, stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world.